The George Floyd protests have again put a spotlight on racial injustice, with the need for immediate police reform at the top of the list. Obviously, it's time for police departments across the country and in Chicago to be overhauled in order to stop systemic racism and police brutality. Most of us are asking, what can we do right now to stop police brutality against black and brown people? I think Illinois' top elected law enforcement officer has the best answer. Attorney General Raoul is calling for police to be licensed by the state. He wants police to be licensed like other professions, such as doctors, nurses, psychologists, attorneys, teachers, and hairdressers. Raoul says a state licensing system would ensure that officers with repeated misconduct claims could have their licenses pulled. They would then be forbidden from continuing to do police work in that town and, very importantly, any other town in the state. As it stands right now, the only way a police officer's certification can be pulled is if they are convicted of a crime. The licensing process would allow for the license to be pulled for misconduct as well as for convictions. This system can discipline and ban cops that show a serious pattern of misconduct, like former Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke, who was convicted of murdering Laquan McDonald, or Derek Chauvin, the Minneapolis police officer charged with second-degree murder for killing George Floyd. These are also the same cops that cost taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars in lawsuit payouts due to their unjustified use of force. If we get these brutal cops off the street, we can put this money toward children in underserved neighborhoods ravaged by racial injustice. State licensing for cops addresses the biggest obstacle to police reform: police unions. The police unions have managed to safeguard even the most brutal racist cops from investigation, discipline, and dismissal. This sadly allows a bad officer to act with impunity, poisoning an entire organizational culture in the process. To be clear, the licensing can't just be about the sheer number of complaints. It has to target the few hundred brutal racist cops that have the vast majority of excessive force complaints on their records. All the good and well-intentioned cops know exactly who they are and would actually like them off the force. The police union should be in place to protect and uphold the rights of upstanding officers, not the bad ones. Attorney General Raoul says licensing probably won't pass without the support of law enforcement. So if the union really wants to protect their members, who in turn protect our citizens, they would agree to this very reasonable idea. Every trade requires a license or permit, with many requiring renewals based on up-to-date education, training, or performance. It's time for police union leadership to change direction and realize the only way forward is to root out cops who aren't fit to wear the badge if their organization is truly committed to protecting everyone equally and fairly, no matter the color of their skin. I'm Dennis Welsh, and that's how I see it. Visit Fox 32 on Facebook and let us know what you think.